Hi YouTube, it's me again. I'm making another story time video about Jeremy, and this one's more about like the silly things that he's done that you may not know about, and it's just random different things that gave me a laugh at one point. I don't think you guys knew this, but he could do splits, like cheerleader splits, something I could never do. And it's really funny. This one time we were at college, and we got out of the car, and there's a lot of gravel in the driveway, and the parking lot, and he slipped on it and actually did a split, complete split. This time it hurt him because, he wasn't expecting it, and it actually split his pants, and his underwear was showing, and there's people all in the parking lot, and they saw it, and it was pretty embarrassing for him, but it was a pretty good laugh for me. Something else that he used to do a lot was make up words, kind of like President Bush, and he would make up words like underestimation instead of underestimated, or determinated instead of determined, and just things along those lines. It was always funny finding out what he would make up the next day, and he didn't do it on purpose, but, he did it, like, on a daily basis. And, this one, before we got our own place, we moved around a little bit, and we lived with my mom this one time, and she and I both worked full-time, and he didn't, so he would make dinner every night, and this one time he made, like, shake and bake chicken, and it looked and smelled good, and he put it on the plates, and I went to take a bite of it, and there was blood dripping from it, and you turn it over, and it was, like, completely raw. He had it on, like, 200 for, like, 10 minutes or whatever, and I wanted to throw up so bad. It was terrible. It was absolutely terrible. I don't know if you guys knew this, but he was, like, really afraid of, like, water, like, swimming. Really afraid of it. And I took him swimming for his first time ever. We were in high school. Went to one of my friends' houses that have an above-ground pool. It's only 4 feet. And I talked him into it, and he got in, took like 2 steps into this pool, and somehow his feet slipped from under him, and he went down. And he started wailing his arms and screaming, and water was rushing in his mouth and everything. And so I walked over to him and pulled him up and took him to the side, and he always claimed that I saved his life, but it was only 4 feet, but he ended up getting like really bad pneumonia and everything from it. And ever since then he wanted nothing to do with like pools or swimming or anything. And I always thought it was kind of ironic, funny, that the first time, his first swimming experience, he takes 2 steps into the pool. After I talked him into nothing will happen, he slips and has that experience. I felt terrible. And something else, when he was in the hospital, he was on Dilaudid, which is stronger than morphine, so he always had hallucinations and stuff. And there's a lot of hallucination stories. But this one, he was afraid of the stuffed lobster. I don't remember where we got the lobster from. I can't recall. But anyways, we had the stuffed lobster, and he was afraid of it. Like, he would yell. I mean, he had a trachea, so he couldn't talk, but he would, like, mouth the words, like, get that thing out of here. He would freak out. And so, like, sometimes I'd peek it in the door, like, hello, and he'd, like, freak out over this thing. And sometimes I would leave it in the room and say, okay, I'm going now, honey, bye-bye. And he's like, no, and he'd freak out, and sometimes we'd throw it on him. We were so mean. After he was better, he laughed about it, and he didn't even really remember the lobster. These are just stories that we tell him and he'd laugh at it. But I don't know why this lobster scared him so bad. It just did. It was really weird. And one other thing is, whenever the director and producer and everyone was planning their visit to make the movie and to interview Jeremy, he was getting, we were discussing, what to say and kind of practicing, or planning, what the conversation might go like and whatever. And he said, well, what if they ask me questions about politics? Because he and I aren't really into politics, and we don't know everything going on in the world. And he's like, I guess what I'll say, if they ask me a question about President Bush's, opinion or take on such and such issue. He's like, I guess I'll just tell them that I'm politically incorrect. And his dad and I just started cracking up for like a half hour because he obviously didn't know what politically incorrect meant, and it was just so hilarious. I was like, yeah, please tell them that, please. And I was hoping it was going to get in the movie too, so it would have been funny. But those are just a few little tidbits on him, things that he's done and whatever. For some reason, I had a hard time thinking of a story, so I just figured I'd throw in just a couple little things this time. But I'll be sure to make another one in the future, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.